What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Jeremy Wormy, and this story actually does shock me because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 box office tracking for a potential massive flop. Okay, I'm actually one of the people that are saying I think Guardians will do the best for MCU this year. I think this could be a billion-dollar movie. It's a long shot, but I honestly think this is the good one. One in a million. This is the end of the story. But there is also the potential for the flop considering the MCU. The Marvel brand, the Disney brand is what's tainting this movie. I think this is going to be a decent movie. I think it's going to be a decent send-off, and it's it for the saga. It's it for the Guardians that's no longer. But when you hear these reports, it does kind of scare you. James Gunn's final movie is projected to open lower than Volume 2 and follows Quantumania bombing big time. I think if this movie fails, it is not the Guardians' fault. I don't think it's James Gunn's fault. I don't think it's the Guardians of the Galaxy being a crappy movie. I think this is solely going to be on Disney's shoulders and the MCU shoulders. Quantumania was a massive flop, and the brand has only gotten worse and worse over the past couple of years since COVID, let's say. Since the end of Endgame, Marvel brand's been more and more toxic. You had Black Widow, you had the Disney Plus shows, you had what came after Black Widow? Shang-Chi, whatever, Eternal, so on and so forth, and it has just gone downhill. Spider-Man No Way Home is the anomaly there, but that's a Sony property, not a Marvel Disney property. But let's get into this. The Guardians of the Galaxy box office happens to be tracking lower, potentially a massive flop for the next Marvel movie as part of Kevin Feige's Phase 5, which is already off to a rocky start following Ant-Man and the Quantumania's big bust. Well, what happened there? Word of mouth just destroyed Ant-Man and the Quantumania, and Ant-Man and the Quantumania was destroyed by its crappy marketing. Marketing is one of the big parts here. Ant-Man and the Quantumania follows just a continuous trend of CGI gobbledygook. And I said gobbledygook really bad there, but you're understanding me. It's nothing but CGI, whereas in the Guardians have been cultivated to be this family, these oddball family guys who you kind of fall in love with and you want to see the story end. But if you're still connected to that Marvel brand, the Disney brand, you're actually getting some pushback. Your Disney stuff isn't doing well anymore. The brand's tainted. It is becoming a toxic IP that nobody really wants to associate with, not even families. And I don't blame them. According to early estimates, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is tracking for a 130 million opening, which is less than Guardians of the Galaxy 2 at 146.5 million back in 2017. The first movie released in 2014 opened to 94.3 million, but also both 2017 and 2014 were different years. The economy was different, ticket prices were different. I've done the research, and about the ticket prices now compared to 2017 are basically doubled. So even if you're having, $130 million opening weekend, you're getting about the same amount of people going to see the movie. Well, actually, you'll be getting half as much people going to see this movie. That is something to always take into account with this. Ticket prices have raised. And I get that this is early box office projections. I can't speak today. And who knows what's going to happen. I mean, when it came to the Mario movie, a lot of that wasn't projected to be uber big either, but that's about to hit $1 billion. So additionally, estimates also offer the flick could open anywhere between 120 million and 155 million. So we'll have to see how things play out. However, according to early projections, things could be worse. And when they get into the worst part, it's telling. The early estimates are said to be, in part, come from initial pre-sales, where Box Office Pro reports the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 pre-sales numbers are actually lower than Marvel movie releases post-Avengers Endgame, except for Black Widow and Shang-Chi. You have to take those out because Black Widow was only on Disney Plus and Shang-Chi was wacky weird. That that's questionable. Granted, how far out is the Marvels? I should have pulled the Guardians 3. We'll look that up. Guardians of, I can't type. Galaxy Volume 3. I might have to adjust some stuff, but when does it release? Off the top of my head, May 4th. Oh, so this is coming up right around the corner. Okay, so May 4th is when these movies start to roll out. Maybe May 4th. So you have 2 more weeks or so until this movie hits theaters, and the early sales aren't doing good. That does become a problem. And this was another month out. Yeah, we could probably be, hey, things could change. But this is right around the corner. So yeah, you be a little terrified. This isn't good. Now that's surprising, as that means Guardians of the Galaxy 3 pre-sale numbers are lower than Eternals, which opened to only $71 million, and lower than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which opened to $106 million. Those numbers would be huge disasters for Kevin Feige, James Gunn, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And granted, a lot of people are saying, like your Deadline says, it's because they haven't really begun their marketing campaign. I don't think that's the case, because you can take a look at this, and we'll start here. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, yeah, almost cracked $1 billion. Probably has cracked $1 billion when you take everything into account. Right around 1 million, we'll say that. This was one of the biggest movies post, let's say, Spider-Man. Post Endgame, I think, is the proper way. This was the biggest one. Actually pulled in a whole lot of money. Almost cracked that $1 billion mark. This was their winner, but a lot of people were turned off by it. And it comes up in shows in Thor: Love and Thunder, where this movie started to project even less. Yes, it probably broke about even, maybe a little, gained a little profit, but this wasn't good either. Like, these numbers aren't being good. And Disney standards, once you started cracking those $1 billion movies, every movie needs to be $1 billion. That's a corporate way of thinking. I know, but that's how Disney thinks. They want to think in this corporate idea, whereas they're not doing it. They're not getting that $1 billion mark. So these are flops according to what Disney has. And it continues going down into Quantumania. Quantumania barely even cracked $500 million. It basically flopped. These aren't good numbers, and is a continuing trend. I firmly believe it's solely Disney and Marvel. This brand has been tainted to the point that even Guardians of the Galaxy, which for the most part has been untouched, James Gunn doesn't accept notes. He doesn't accept these changes. He does what he wants to do. And it has shown in the past 2 movies. It is his own little thing. These are quirky characters that you grew to love. You can also expect that this movie is going to be self-contained out of the grand story, and is actually technically a phase 3 story, not even a phase 5 story. It's been all kinds of whacked up, but it's supposed to be the end. It's the end of this journey, but because of the Marvel brand, because of the DC brand, you're kind of in a bad spot, and nobody wants to go see this. I could be wrong, but these are early projections. Still have about 2 weeks until the movie releases, plus or minus a week or so. Who knows what's going to happen? If this does flop, though, I think it is a nail in the coffin for Marvel brand and superhero movies as a whole. Even though I don't believe in superhero fatigue, I believe in bad storytelling fatigue, but this was a safe bet. This was a safe bet to maybe make about the same amount as Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And if it flops anywhere near, let's say, Thor or Ant-Man numbers, they're not going to be in a good state. Phase 4 and 5 had basically just killed the Marvel brand. But that's what you get when you inject stuff that nobody cares about. These identity politics, characters that were introduced in the comics that never were successful. That's what happens when you disrespect the fans over and over again. And that's going to be the next video, is continuing to just disrespect the fans. And just not care. It hurts the IP. People don't want to interact with the movies anymore, except for the really, really diehards in the stands. And that's all you got. Well, what do you expect? You can take this in comparison to the Mario movie. Mario movie honored the fans, didn't call them stupid, didn't call them racist, didn't call them sexist, didn't try to preach to them. And it shows. It was made for even less money than these average Marvel movies, and it's making nothing but profit now. And people liked it. People enjoyed it. It's night and day comparisons here. And you just blew it all away. But let me get you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out with friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.